Hello, Elly here from Thankful Flow Yoga. Thank you so much for joining me for another YouTube practice. We are doing a power flow today. We're going to be opening into the hip space a lot in this practice. As always, please do have blocks and props to support you. And I recommend that this practice is suitable for someone who has an existing yoga practice, and probably not suitable for a beginner. Now, there will still be different options and things to out, so always listening to your body, listening to what you need from this class today. So we'll start in a comfortable seated position on your mat. And bring the hands so that they're resting on the knees or the thighs with the palms facing up. You can start to close the eyes if that's comfortable for you. Taking some deep breaths. And just observing any sensations in the hands here. With the palms up, this is our gesture of receiving new energy, receiving wisdoms, perhaps thinking about anything that you want to connect to today during this practice, energetically, physically, emotionally, whatever that is, making some space for that. Opening the eyes back up when you're ready. Start to take a couple of shoulder rolls. And then we'll bring the soles of the feet together. Let your knees drop out for our bound ankle position. Rest the hands on the ankles to begin with. Inhale, lengthen the spine. As you exhale, start to fold forwards, leading with the chest, keeping the spine long. Then you can start to walk the hands out in front if that feels good too. Just remembering we're at the beginning of the practice today. Breathing here, connecting to your prana, life force energy. How does the breath feel within your body? What emotions are running through you today? What's present? Maybe you feel like there isn't anything emotionally present right now. If that's your observation, then that's okay too. Just connecting to what's there for you. Not trying to change anything. Inhale, lift the chest, come back up to center. And we're going to open the legs out to the side slightly now. You don't have to be bringing the legs out super wide. Just coming to about 70%. Inhale here, lengthen the spine, crown of the head reaches towards the ceiling. Keep the feet flexed, thighs are staying facing the ceiling. Exhale, lead with the chest, start to come into fold. You might be staying quite high up here. You can always use blocks and props to support you, remember. Taking any of those adjustments that you need. Maybe you're coming down a little further into your fold, just starting to stretch into the hips, the groin. Keep the thighs rolling up towards the ceiling. So there is some activation in the legs here. We're actively stretching. On your next inhale, start to lift the chest, come back to neutral. And we're going to bring the feet down to the mat. So soles of the feet on the mat, legs bent. We're going to have a little bit of fun now. So we're going to work with, this is like an upright version of Happy Baby. So we either bring our peace fingers to the big toes, or if that's not going to work for you, you can have the hands on the calves or the thighs. So we'll do 1 foot first. So we're going to inhale, lengthen the spine. See if you can draw this right foot into a happy baby position, but staying upright. Exhale, release. Inhale, lift the left foot up. Happy baby on the left side. Keep that spine growing tall. Engaging the core, drawing the belly in. Exhale, release. Now we're going to do both legs. So using that core stability, so draw the belly in, get active through the core first, then can you lift the legs away and keep the spine long. We're not rounding through the spine here. So adjust the hands if you need to. If you're wobbling and rolling around all over the place, just know that that might be where you need to be today. That's okay. Have some fun with it. See if you can bring a light-hearted attitude to your practice today. Maybe from here, you want to start playing with lengthening through the legs. So opening up here. Keep breathing. Well done. Bend through the legs if you've lengthened them. Release the hands, bring the feet down to the mat. Well done. Take a little window wipe with the knees from side to side. It's quite strong on the hip flexors. So this time we're going to make it into a little sequence for our challenging warm-up. So come to Navasana boat pose. Bring the arms out in front. Breathing here, keeping the spine long, keeping space across the chest. Bring the peace fingers to the big toes, or hands are coming behind the thighs or the calves. Come into your upright happy baby. Either staying here or you lengthening the legs. Breathing. Now bend through the legs, draw them back in, and come back to Navasana. Rock forward, release the legs out to the side. Can you take a forward fold? Inhale back up to center. Draw the legs back in. So we'll go through that once more. So lift the feet away, bring the hands out in front. Navasana boat pose, breathing. Bring hands to the bring peace fingers to the toes. Open out, so knees are coming away. Imagine that your knees are coming in towards your armpits, really reaching the crown of the head to the ceiling, making that space across the chest. Maybe you start to lengthen the legs now here. If you're falling out, just come back in, meet us back in the pose when you're ready. Bend through the legs, draw them back in together. Release the hands back to your boat pose. And bring the legs out to the side, back to your wide leg stretch. And folding forwards on the exhale. Inhale, come back up. Lovely, well done. Take a window wipe through the knees. And we're going to come into our tabletop position. Shoulders above the wrist, hips above the knees. Inhale, make space across the chest, opening across the heart. Exhale, round the spine, come up and out the shoulders, draw the belly in. Inhale, lift the chest, open across this heart center space. Belly's dropping down. Exhale, drop the head, draw the belly in. Pelvis is drawing up and in towards the body. Once more, inhale, sending the gaze forward, shining the heart forwards. Exhale, drop the head round the spine, draw the belly in. Inhale, come back to a neutral position. Tuck the toes under, walk the feet in towards the hands, hang down and kneel forward fold. Feet roughly hip width, bend through the legs as much as you need to. Take some nice gentle movement here. See if you can find a little sway, maybe from side to side. Maybe you start to bend a little bit through the right leg. Taking some nice movement. Feeling into the backs of the legs. And then we're going to inhale, bend through the legs, draw the belly in, bring the hands to the hips, lift up to standing. Meeting in our Tadasana mountain pose. Inhale, sweep the fingertips up to the sky, lift up and out from the waist. Exhale, hinge forwards, come into your forward fold, bend the legs as much as you need to. Inhale, lift the chest and lengthen the spine, halfway lift. Exhale, hands come down to the mat, step the feet back. Pause in your plank position, shoulders above the wrist, strong inner line of energy. Exhale, drop the knees down, lower the body down to your belly. I'm just going to do the modified sun salutation first time. Inhale, roll your shoulders back, peel the chest away from the mat, cobra. Press the tops of feet to the mat, activate the legs. Exhale, release the chest back down. On your next exhale, send the hips to the sky, downward facing dog. Breathing here, drawing the belly in. Pressing the hands into the mat, lifting the hips to the sky. Reconnect to your breath, maybe connecting to your Ujjayi breath if that's something that you work with. Just breathing here. Inhale, send the gaze between the hands, step or jump the feet in. Lift the chest and lengthen the spine. Find your halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, sweep the fingertips up to the sky, grow the spine tall. Exhale, bring your hands through to heart center. And again, inhale, reach the fingertips to the sky, crown of the head reaches towards the ceiling. Exhale, hinge from the hips, forward fold. Inhale, lift the chest and lengthen the spine, halfway lift. Exhale, draw the hands down to the mat, step or jump the feet back. And then work through your version of chaturanga. So either inhaling into your upward facing dog or cobra. And then exhale, bring the hips back to the sky for downward facing dog. Breathing here. Noticing your breath, noticing your body, how it feels. Inhale, step or jump the feet in towards the hands. Lift the chest, lengthen the spine, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, sweep the fingertips up to the spine, up to the sky, grow the spine tall. Exhale, bring the hands through to heart center, Anjali Mudra. Pausing here, take a couple of breaths. Press the hands into that heart center, that chest space. So pressing the hands to the chest bone. This is actually an acupressure point, sea of tranquility. Can be very calming. You might like to set the feet slightly in closer together here. On our next inhale, sit the hips back, find your Utkatasana, your chair pose. Make sure you're drawing that belly in, strong through the core. Squeezing the legs together. Imagine you're drawing your energy up here from the ground, into the legs, into your body. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lift the chest and lengthen the spine, halfway lift. Exhale, place the hands down, jump or step back to plank. And work through your chaturanga. So inhaling into upward facing dog or cobra. Exhaling back to your downward facing dog. Breathing here. Remember that child's pose is there for you at any time that you need it. On your next inhale, going to lift this right foot away from the mat, sweep the right toes up to the sky, three-leg dog, hips are open. Make sure you stay strong through the shoulders. Keep breathing. And now we start to draw this right foot through, step the right foot between the hands. Inhale, sweep the arms up to the sky, find your high lunge. Can you take your Kali Mudra here? Index fingers touching, rest of the fingers are interlaced. Really lifting up and out from the waist. We're going to start to open out into the side body, bend through your right leg. Can you find your right side Skandasana? If you want to be higher up here, you absolutely can. Keep that space across the chest. Your heel doesn't have to be coming down to the ground. Take the modifications that you need. Breathing here, can you send your gaze up towards the ceiling? Now we're going to float into this wide leg position. Point the toes forwards for Prasarita Panitanasana. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, move into the fold, dropping the head down. Walking the hands so that they're in line, the heels of the hands are in line with the heels of the feet. See if you can shift a little bit of weight into the balls of the feet here. Bring the hands to the hips. Take a deep inhale, start to lift the chest, keeping the spine long. Draw the body back up to center. Lovely. Pivot the toes out. Getting ready for our goddess. So inhale, sweep the fingertips up to the sky, lift the ribs away from the hips. Exhale, bend the legs, sink down into your goddess. Coming into cactus position with the arms, drawing the belly in, so pelvis is drawing up and in towards the body. Start to lift that right heel away from the mat. Bring it back down. Can you lift the left heel away from the mat? Bring it back down. Can you lift both heels away from the mat? Breathing here. Keep that strong draw of energy up from the root all the way through to the crown of the head. Release both heels back down. Release from your goddess. And then we're going to float the arms. So we're pivoting so that we're facing forwards on the mat. Float the arms around to frame that right foot. Step back to your plank position. And Vinyasa. Inhale into upward facing dog or cobra. And then exhale back into your downward facing dog. Beautiful. Find that connection. Find that connection to your breath. Notice anything that's coming up mentally, physically, emotionally. Checking in with what's there. Always sending that gaze inwards. Inhale, this time we sweep the left leg up to the sky, open through the left hip. Keep the shoulders nice and strong. Keep breathing. And we'll start to float this left foot through now. Place the left foot between the hands. Index fingers are long and touching. Lifting up and out from the waist. Breathing here. Now we're gonna open out, bring that left leg, start to bend it, come into your left side Skandasana. Hands in prayer position. Taking any adjustments or modifications or staying higher up. See if you can send your gaze up to the sky. Now we're gonna power through this left leg. Come into a wide leg position. You can bring the hands down, point the toes forwards for our Prasarita. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, fold forwards. Maybe you're walking the heels of the hands so that they're in line with the heels of the feet. Maybe you're shifting a little bit of weight into the balls of the feet here. Breathing. You can come higher up if you need to. Listen to the body. Bring the hands back to the hips. Inhale, start to lift the chest, keeping the spine long, drawing the belly in. Coming back up to center. Pivot the toes so that they're pointing out. So ready for our goddess. Inhale, reach the fingertips up to the sky. Exhale, bend through the legs, but lift up from the root. So pelvis drawing up and in towards the body as we sink down. Bring the hands, the arms into cactus. Breathing here. Can you lift the right heel away from the mat? Drop it back down. Lift the left heel away from the mat. Drop it back down. Lift both heels away from the mat. Stay with me, that's it. Drop the heels back down. Exhale, release from your goddess. Bring the hands down, lengthen the legs. And then we're going to pivot to the top of the mat. Float the hands around to frame that front left foot. Step the foot back. And Vinyasa, inhaling. Upward facing dog or cobra. And on your exhale, we come back to our downward facing dog. You could come to a child's pose here if that's what you're feeling for. This is your practice. I'm guiding you. Just remember that this is your time. This is your time to take what you need. Inhale, jump or step the feet in towards the hands. Lift the chest, lengthen the spine, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, Utkatasana, sit the hips back, draw the belly in. Squeezing the legs together. Exhale, bring the hands to heart center, Anjali Mudra. Coming back to your standing position. And take a couple of grounding breaths here. Inhale, sweep your fingertips up to the sky, lift the ribs away from the hips. Exhale, fold forwards. Inhale, lift the chest and lengthen the spine, halfway lift. Exhale, bring the hands down to the mat. Step the feet back to plank. Hold it here. Going to take a couple of rocks back and forth. Inhale, press through the toes, shift the body forwards. Exhale, come back. Inhale, shift the shoulders forwards, pressing through the toes. Exhale, come back. And one more, staying with me, well done. Inhale, shift forwards. Exhale, come back. Drop the knees down to an all fours position on your mat. And then from here, we're going to slide this right knee to the outside of the right wrist. And then slide the left leg back, finding your pigeon. Now, if you've got space underneath, using your blocks here, using props to support you, you can even use cushions, a bolster, whatever you need. And just being mindful of this knee at the front, this right knee. Just checking in that that right knee feels okay. If it doesn't, then you could always take a seated pigeon or one of the other options. So the hips are shining forwards here. On your next exhale, we're going to walk the hands forwards, and you can start to fold over this right leg. Let the forehead come down to the mat. So feeling that stretch into the right hip space, the glutes, piriformis, the IT band. But we're also stretching into the left hip flexor as well, the front of the left hip. So there's a lot going on here. Quite often we can have a love-hate relationship with this pose. Some of us love it, some of us not so much. But there's no right or wrong. So just being where you are with the pose, accepting it, breathing into any discomfort, finding some comfort within your discomfort. Maybe that's through the breath. Sending that gaze inwards. Letting the breath remind you that you are okay. That you are more than okay. On your next inhale, we're going to walk the hands back in, coming away from our pigeon. So bring the hands down to the mat, rounding through the hands. And sometimes it helps to tuck under this back left toe here. See what works for you. But we want to put the weight into the hands. I like to engage my back leg and lift the leg away. You might like to do it differently, but just make sure that when you're coming out of your pigeon, that you're supporting yourself and your joints as you come out, okay? So meeting back in your all fours position. Now we'll come onto the other side. So left knee slides to the outside of that left wrist. And then we bring that right leg down to the mat. If you've got lots of space here, you're using your blocks and props to support you. Hips are square. Sometimes it's nice to bring the left hand to the left thigh. You could bring this right hand to the right hip, just squaring off. Seeing if you can pause here. And then on the exhale, walk the hands down, melt the body over that front leg. And pigeon could feel quite different for you on different sides of the body. That is also okay. That's very common. No judgment. Just observing here any resistance to this position, to this practice. Or maybe you're observing that there isn't any resistance, that this is something that feels really good for you, that feels really natural for your body. And we're not doing this so that we can label what we're doing in any way, just allowing ourselves to observe what is going on. This is increasing our awareness, our interoception. The more that we know what is alive in our body, the more that we can be in that place of awareness for what's going on for us. It means the more that we can regulate ourselves, because we are intimate with the different things that are arising within us. On your next inhale, we're going to walk the hands back in, coming up from the fold. We're going to ground through the hands, lift the left leg away, bring it back to this all fours position. And then we're going to sit the hips back towards the heels and then just shift the hips down onto the ground. And coming back to where we started the practice, have the legs bent. And we are going to come into a lotus pose. So this has similar aspects to what we did at the beginning of the class. But instead of bringing our hands to the foot, we'll do the right side first. Bring your arm and see if you can wrap that arm underneath your right calf. So as you can see, my arm's wrapping underneath here. Okay, release that right leg down. Try the other side, wrap your left arm underneath that left calf, or just in that crease, basically, the crease of the leg. Lovely. Now we're going to have a go at doing it together. Again, don't worry if it means that you're rolling around. So using this core strength, really lifting, engage Mula Bandha, engage your pelvic floor, the muscles at the seat of your pelvis, that root lock, and bring the heels of the feet together if you can. If this is too tricky, you could keep working on one side, so doing a half lotus and then doing it on the other side. And then you could take a mudra here, you could take your chin mudra and bring the index finger to the thumb. And breathing here in this beautiful shape. And as we know in yoga, the lotus represents this beautiful flower that blossoms from the muddy waters. And the philosophical meaning of this, as I'm sure many of you know if you've been practicing yoga, is just that idea that when we go through these challenges in life, which we all do, that these challenges are presenting us with opportunities for growth and offering us ways to learn about ourselves and really kind of transform ourselves. So it's a really beautiful thing. So now we'll start to release the hands, release the legs down. Well done. Make a window wipe with the knees from side to side. Bring the legs back to a comfortable seated position, and we'll close off the practice here. Have the palms of the hands facing up. You can take your chin mudra again here if you wish to. And either close off the eyes or take a steady gaze out in front. And just relax the neck and the shoulders. Shoulder blades are running down your back. Relaxing all the muscles in your face, your jaw. Connecting to a sense of ease, a sense of stillness, maybe a sense of peace. And perhaps reflecting on at the beginning of the practice, if you had any thoughts on any energy that you wanted to receive, or any wisdom you wanted to connect to in this practice, just coming back to that now. And we'll open the eyes when you're ready. Just taking a steady gaze. If you have more time, then I would highly recommend doing a shavasana or a meditation. Thank you so much for doing and sharing this practice with me. I hope you had fun and enjoyed this class as much as I did. And I always want to hear your feedback, so do comment and feedback to me. There's a link below in the to my website and all the other things that I offer.